Hello guys, welcome back to Nisha's World. I am Nisha, and today on Nisha's World I'm going to be cooking sweet potato pie. I'm going to show you step by step the ingredients that I use and how I cook my sweet potato pie. Okay, so first things first, you will need some sweet potatoes. Okay, so my sweet potatoes, I bake them. And I bake them because I bake my sweet potatoes because if you boil them, you will not keep all the nutrients and vitamins that's inside the sweet potatoes. You will lose that in the water. But you can boil them if you want. That will be a faster process, but I bake them. I also bake them because some sweet potatoes, a lot of sweet potatoes, they have strings in them. So if you bake them, you can reduce the amount of strings you see. But okay. So these are my baked sweet potatoes. Okay, and today I'm going to use some sweet cream unsalted butter. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I use sweetened condensed milk. It's very sweet and it's very thick. Also, I use imitation vanilla flavor. You can use the original, the pure vanilla, but I use this. It's cheaper, of course. Also, I'm going to put in some brown sugar, ground cinnamon, nutmeg. Also, I use sugar. And last but not least, you're going to need pie crust. I'm using 2 deep dish pie crusts made by Pillsbury. You can use whatever you like. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to preheat your oven, set it to about 350. And you're going to want to open your pie crust and you're going to want to put them in the oven. You're going to want to bake them just for a little bit. Get them lightly brown, okay, before you mix up your ingredients and put it into your pie crust, okay? Alright, so I'm about to get ready to mix in my ingredients to make my sweet potatoes while I wait on my pie crust to brown a little bit, okay? So the first thing is first, you want to make sure that whether you boil your sweet potatoes or you bake them, that they are extremely soft, okay? You don't want any, partially crunchy sweet potatoes, okay? Alright, here I have opened up my baked sweet potatoes, alright, and I have put them into a big mixing bowl, alright. Okay, so I have my mushed sweet potatoes. I'm making sure everything is nice and mushy. And what I'm going to do is, my butter came in this big, thick block, what appears to be equivalent to 4 sticks of butter. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take 1 stick of butter and put it into my sweet potatoes. Okay? I'm going to mix that up. Let's see. Or I might let it sit there for a minute and let the hot sweet potatoes melt the butter. Alright? So while we're waiting on that butter to soften, another thing we're going to need to add is, we're going to need to add the sugar and the brown sugar. Now by us adding this sweetened condensed milk, as you can see, the butter is melting in the sweet potatoes. So I'm going to take my sweetened condensed milk and I'm going to use about half of a can. Okay, pouring about half of a can, and that's what it looks like. It's real thick. Okay, I'm going to mix that in. Alright. Alright, so while I'm doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this glass that I have. It's the same measurements of a cup. Okay, so now I have the butter and the condensed sugar. I have it all mixed up in my sweet potatoes, and also I went to get my pie crust. So let me show you what everything looks like so far. All right, so this is the mixture, that piece of butter. And this is what the pie crust looked like after I baked it just a little bit. Like I said, you just want to get it, bake it just a little bit and get it a little bit brown. Okay, so now I have took about a half a cup of this glass and I filled it with unpacked brown sugar. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. Okay, now I'm going to add some granulated sugar. I'm going to do about a cup of that as well. Okay, so I did a little less than half of sugar, and I did that because, like I told you earlier, it's best to add less. So we're going to taste it. We're going to put these ingredients in first, and we're going to taste it and see if it's too sweet or not sweet enough. But it shouldn't be too sweet. I've only used a half of each, half of the sweetened condensed sugar, half of the brown sugar, and now I'm going to use half of the sugar. Okay, so all right, and then you're going to want to sprinkle in a little nutmeg. Nutmeg is optional. Everyone does not like nutmeg, but I just use a little bit. So I'm just going to sprinkle, just a sprinkle. Okay, if you had to measure it, I would say use about a half a teaspoon. So I have mixed in a sprinkle of cinnamon. If I had to measure the cinnamon, you could put in about half a teaspoon, or you could put a whole teaspoon. It all depends on you. So I have mixed up my mixture. This is my sweet potato mixture after I have added the sugar, brown sugar, sweetened condensed milk, nutmeg, butter, cinnamon. Okay, you want to make sure that everything is nice and creamy. Okay, now it's time for me to pour the sweet potato mixture into the pie crust, and then we're going to go ahead and put the pies into the oven. Okay, so here is the pies after I have put our sweet potato mixture inside of the pie crust. I am about to get ready to put our pies into the oven. Okay, and just a little note, when you're getting your sweet potatoes, I can't really tell you about how many to get. Just get plenty, and I would recommend you not to get big, thick sweet potatoes, because if you're going to boil them or bake them, they're hard to cut, and then they take longer to bake. Okay, but I'll see you in a minute. Okay. All right, everyone, so I am back. I let our pies cook for about 30 minutes, okay? And let's see what you think. All right, so I let the crust get about a medium brown. You can get it darker if you would like, but I think everything looks good. All right, so if you like today's Nisha's World, like and subscribe. Thank you for joining Nisha's World.